Hello and welcome to today's edition of Pegasus Test. On today's edition, we're covering the Fairfax Rod and Gun Club's 2-Gun Action Challenge match of December 2022. Here on the first stage, which is Tunnel Rat Take 2, you had to slide into this tunnel and engage 5 Duramax balls. Once you knocked the 5 balls down, you slid out of the tunnel and cleared your weapon. Once the RO was happy that your weapon was cleared, you could go ahead and retrieve those 2 ammo cans that were full of empty brass and run over to shooting position 2, which when you got there, you found a barrel with a tunnel on top of it, and through that tunnel you had to engage a Texas Star. Now I'm showing this from this point of view specifically because shooting through the barrel with the pistol shoved in there got some massive reverb that was just messing with me. So I pulled back, still stayed with the spirit of shooting through the barrel but not actually being in it, and that definitely helped get some hits faster. And I usually do a little bit better on a Texas Star than this, but it's from the kneeling position, so I'm going to blame it on that. Also, pro tip here, when you pick up your magazine from the previous stage, make sure you fill it back up to capacity so you don't have to reload on the next stage.
Alright, unload and show clear the pistol. Clear, go ahead.
Overall, pretty good time on this, but not the best.
76.11. You understand the course of fire?
I do.
Alright, this next stage, you had to go from 2 points with a heavy backpack. Matter of fact, the stage is actually named Another Backpack. And it's a pistol-only stage. And starting here from P1, you had to engage one of the 5 Duramax balls, knock it down, and then move to the Texas Star. When you got over to the Texas Star, you had to engage a plate, and when you got it, move back to the Duraballs. Now, one of the things you notice, that duffel bag's on the back of you. It's full of empty brass, and it's really heavy. Also, it's not riding particularly well. Notice the weight is way down. And man, every time you stop, it starts to sway, and I would line up the sights, and I could just feel them drift off target. Every time I took a shot, I had to almost pull back from pulling the trigger because I could feel myself coming off target. I mean, this drill was a whole lot harder than it looked. The bag was a whole lot heavier, and the thing is, I've probably shot contests where I've had to put a backpack on that weighed as much or even heavier, but it was just like the way it was just not riding well and shifting all over, just really messed with your accuracy. This was definitely a diabolical stage.
Last one.
Yeah, should have made that hit so I didn't have to do a reload. That probably would have shaved a few seconds off the final time here. But overall, not a bad score.
Unload and show clear, please. Clear. Go ahead and holster.
Despite what I say.
Horrible time.
Shooter ready? Shooter's
All right, moving on to stage 3, which is just a traditional Fxrgc drill. Now let's break this one down. When you get your hit, see what I do? Place the rifle as far forward as you can reach. Just grab the barrel and throw it. That way you never step in front of your muzzle. And I got all the way to the next line with that throw. Again, reaching far forward, down, and just throw it. Don't wind up. The time you take winding up to build momentum will not be made back with the distance you get. Yes, you may get a foot or 2 more distance, but that doesn't make up the time. Just grab it and throw. And don't even look at it. It'll be there when you get there. Just throw the damn kettleball, get up to where it's at, and then throw it. And also, the Fxrgc drill usually has the requirement that you have to be within 1 meter of the kettlebell. Notice how I put myself there where the kettlebell was at my waist, and I reached forward and put the rifle far forward. That way, no matter how much my momentum carries me forward, I don't pass the muzzle of my firearm. That way I cannot have a safety violation. And it's also being compliant with the rules. And by the time the momentum carries me forward, the rifle's right where I want to grab it. The only thing that would make this easier is if I had a bipod on the rifle, because it is, when I've shot the Fxrgc drill with rifles with bipods, very much easier to do because the rifle's propped up for you.
little bit. There you go.
Now here I could just lob it because I only had to get up to the line. A good time, but people did ended up doing better than this, I found out.
Time 1:03.38. Shooters, stand by.
Now on to our last stage, which is Rescue Buster. What you had to do is you had 6 knockdown steel plates. You had to engage from the kneeling position at the low ready. Once you knocked down all 6 plates, you had to drop your magazine. With that final shot, put it into that big IPSC target there. Holster up, grab Buster, represented here by a duffel bag full of empty brass, and dash back to the second firing position, where you had 2 targets, one at the berm that you were just engaging, and 100 meters beyond that target, a second one. And you had to get a total of 8 hits in a back and forth pattern. You were not allowed to double tap. And somehow doing this, I must have knocked the rheostat on my rifle, because it was on full power, which it was not on the last stage. And oh my God, when I looked down, getting the first hit was fine. The second hit was hard as heck. And I just had to keep turning it down between shots, so that's why you're noticing me constantly reaching up to the sight, just to get it down dim enough where the dot just wasn't blooming out the target. That accounted for a big chunk of the misses, but it didn't account for all of them. My nailing position was stable, but not the stablest, and breathing hard didn't help matters.
71.72, no penalties.
All right, not the greatest score, but not bad.
Range is clear, reset.
We hope you found this coverage of the Fairfax Rod and Gun Club 2-Gun Action Challenge match helpful and informative. Please comment, like, and subscribe, and tune in for more match coverage on future videos.